Hello ladies, welcome to your 9:30 Zoom workout. Let's go ahead and get started with the hamstring curl.
The next workout will be
bring that heel straight up the back of that thigh.
Please proceed to a station.
Very nice. Core is nice and tight. Just the tiniest little hinge forward with those hips, making sure that that back can stay nice and flat. Oh, spring is in the air. Feels so nice to have the sun out so often. I went to Sonoma yesterday where it was like legitimately hot. Just like the first time I felt that in a while. Let's bring those palms up to the sky and forward. Let's add our row right here. All right, so for our workout today, ladies, just a pair of dumbbells and optional, a sturdy bench or chair. Please make sure it is sturdy, that you can put your body weight on it. Beautiful. I'll just use that as a potential progression. Good. Beautiful. Again, shoulders are back and down, and we really are trying to squeeze those shoulder blades every time. Neck is nice and long, and we're getting that breath going. Good. And we have 4. We have 3. 2, let's go into our side-to-side tap. You know, I love this one. Bring that lateral across. Good. Belly button is in. And let's reach across. Reach. Good.
Stop, exercise.
Beautiful, ladies. Excellent. And we have 4. We have 3. We have 2. And we're going to bring our hands behind our back. Knees nice and soft, please. We're going to go into some hinges. So we're going to hinge at the hip and then drive up through the glutes and squeeze at the very top. So this is a seemingly simple exercise, but we're getting a nice little stretch through the hamstrings and the lower back. Full extension back here. And then when you press your heels into the floor, the glutes are going to squeeze at the back. When done with weight, this is called a good morning. Usually the weight is loaded up right here, and this is very much a hamstring and glute exercise. So we're just waking that up. Very nice. Now the back should be neutral, which means that you're not curling your pelvis underneath you, but nor are you hyperextending the lower back. You want to keep it nice and flat. There might be a little bit of a natural curve there. Good, and the belly button is pulled in, but not tucking the tailbone. I think a lot of times when we say pull your belly button in, people automatically think of the mechanism that we use a plank, where we kind of do the tuck. Not so much this. This, I want you to think about setting your abs like a brick wall, as if someone's about to punch you in the stomach. Good. Let's do one more. Hips back, little squeeze, drive up. Good, we're going to turn this into a squat.
Stop,
which means
exercise.
The hinge is still there, but the chest is not going to come forward, and the knees are going to bend a little bit more, and then we do a big circle. Oh, God. Hips back, little squat, and up and around. Very nice. Good, ladies.
Begin set 4.
All right, so here's set 4. We're going to keep going, and this is an opportunity for you to sort of test the tolerance of your knees today. We don't have to go particularly deep. The weight, however, always back in those heels. Please send that booty way back, like you're trying to sit into an invisible chair behind you. You need to feel it out with that butt. Good. Oh, and at the end of this set, you're going to go ahead and grab your hand weights. Feels so nice.
Stop, exercise, and switch to the next station.
Hand weights at your sides. Feet are going to be all the way together for this one, so there should be no daylight between your ankles, your calves, your thighs. Hips back and then down, similar to a squat, but with the feet all the way together. I characterize this as a chair pose. And just for this one, you're just going to test out your chair pose. So the weights are down by your sides. Chest, however, needs to stay nice and open. I tend to see a lot of this, so make sure that chest doesn't cave. And you're just gonna try to challenge your depth here. So sending your hips as far back as you can and then down. Good. Wiggle your toes for me, just a little wiggle. And don't worry, it's not gonna be just this for 4 sets. That would be crazy.
Stop, exercise.
All right, let's hold it if you can. Take a little break if you absolutely need to. But we're gonna switch the position of the weights. You're gonna bring them up and press them into your torso. You can even make them into a little X if you like, so they're easier to grab with both hands. And squeeze them into your
Begin
belly.
set 2.
Very good. Set 2, we're gonna add a little march. So you're gonna bring one knee up and then set it back down. Now you notice I'm not marching up particularly high, like I'm not bringing it all the way up here, but I am going slow because I want that quad to have to take on a lot of work. I'm also challenging my balance. If being on one leg is a problem, if you maybe have a knee that has an injury, you can keep both feet down and give me pulses down here. Good, but first let's take a break. Oh, hips all the way up. Go and give me a nice little hip roll. Work out any tension you might be accruing in your lower back.
Begin set 3.
Hips back, weight in the heels, hips down, chair pose. Good. This time the march is going to change up just a little bit. So it's going to be on the right side. That right foot is going to come up, and it's going to tap back. And then it's going to come up and hover and tap back. So this is a lot like some of the speed skaters that you've done in the past, but we're changing it up a little bit. The balance aspect is right here. We're staying on the one side.
Stop, exercise.
Ooh, go ahead and come up. Beautiful. We're going to switch on over to the other side. I'll face the other way just so you can see. Feet all the way together, hips back, wiggle your toes, hips down, bend in the knee. This time the left foot comes up to hover. And then we
begin set 4.
Good. And tap. If you can, lightly tap or even just hover the back foot. See, I couldn't do it. I had to tap it down. But that's going to challenge your balance quite a bit more. And in turn, your legs are going to go wiggle, 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 and they're going to start to burn because they have to keep you stable. Woo! Some balance work for you today. And at the end of this set, you
stop exercise and switch to the next station.
Ooh, go and drive up through the heel. Very nice. First thing I'm going to have you do is a lovely little child's pose because, heck, you've earned it. Oh, hips back and down. Getting ready to go into our plank.
Begin set 1.
Onto those elbows, please. So for today, I'm recommending a full elbow plank. So that's going to be all the way up on the toes. And if for whatever reason, doing this full plank is not an option for you today, try it with your elbows on that sturdy chair or bench. And I'll show you exactly why in just a moment. For set 2, we're going to add some movement.
Stop, exercise.
Very nice. Go ahead and drop your knees, take a little break. All right, so we're going to be doing a piking plank. I'll show you what this is. On the floor, essentially you're bringing your hips from neutral to a pike. You can almost tap the floor.
Begin set 2.
And back. So you're rocking from one to the other. Good. So if you're on a chair or bench, it'll look more like this. 1, 2. Now here's the thing about a piking plank, pardon me. Every time you come back down in line, you need to tuck your tailbone. It's a little bit of a reset every time. Tuck and squeeze, then send your tailbone up.
Stop, exercise.
Good, take a little break. Why are we doing this, Nicole? Well, a lot of times we talk about your hips being in line. Many people have the instinct of keeping their butt up in the air. Here, what I want you to note
Begin set
Is
3.
the difference in the way and the amount of work your abs do here versus here. So here you should start to feel your abs grab, they'll kind of catch. And then up here, you don't feel much of the abs, you feel more in the shoulders. 1, 2, very much an awareness exercise here. 1, 2, take your time. Tuck that tailbone every time you come down. And send your hips
Stop exercise.
Very good. Go ahead and drop your knees. Hips back into child's pose. Excellent. If you'd like to add a progression, you'll follow me for set 4. Beautiful. So with this one, every time you send your butt
Begin
up,
set
you're
4.
also going to send your heel up. It's going to look like this. Start neutral. And then that butt comes up and one foot comes up, little glute squeeze. Then back to a neutral plank. And then you pike and lift. Neutral and pike and lift. Very good. All right, at the end of this set, ladies, we're going to go ahead and turn over onto our backs. Good.
Stop exercise and switch to the next station.
Beautiful. All right. Turning it on over, and we're going to need that sturdy chair or bench. If you don't have one, that is totally fine. You can either keep your feet on the floor, or if you have a part of your wall that you don't care about, you can put your feet up on the wall. But I'm going to go ahead and go right into demonstrating here. So I always like to put the edge of the surface against sort of the center of the sole of my foot. We're just going to start with a little pulse here. So this is an elevated bridge. We've got a lot of ground that we can cover. Your hips are going to be higher than usual. And also your placement is going to be important.
Stop exercise.
If you're too far away from your bench or your chair, it's going to want to push you, like sort of slide you on the floor. If you're too close, your lower back is probably going to start to feel it. So take this moment to make any adjustments you may need.
Begin set 2.
Very good. Set 2, we're going to change up the movement just a little bit, full range of motion. So you come all the way from the floor, squeeze your glutes, bring them all the way up, then all the way down, but then you're just going to barely tap the floor. Tap, and then right up again. Very slow in both directions. So here, we're just getting full engagement, full squeeze, nice and slow.
Stop exercise.
Gorgeous. Take that break if you like. You can pull your knees into your chest, rock yourself, right, left, right, left. Very good. Set 3. Here's where we get into the hard stuff. But Nicole, it's already been hard.
Begin set 3.
All right, hips on up. I've got my hands here only so that you can see. We're going to lift one foot, and I want you to stack it right on top of your hip. Good. Your toe pointed straight up to the sky. And then we're just going to pulse down and up. And when you pulse that toe up, you're trying to tap the ceiling with it. Now the reason I have you do this particular position, this is going to be easier.
Stop exercise.
You can even do a little experiment. Pull that knee in. A lot of people start here. I want you to see how different it feels when you extend that leg and stack it on top of the hip. Ooh, very nice work. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Beautiful.
Begin set 4.
Hips on up. Other leg on up. Take a look at your knee as best you can. I know it's tough without a mirror, but try your very best not to let that leg fall in towards you. Keep it stacked. Good, and every time you press your hips up, you're just gonna reach your little toe to the ceiling. Good, you're shooting energy through the tip of that toe. Ballerina. Good.
Stop exercise and switch to the next station.
Excellent. All right, ladies, you're gonna roll to your side. You're gonna come on up to standing. That bench, that chair, again, if you don't have one, let's use a wall, but we're gonna go into some push-ups. So if you happen to have a chair, which is kind of a narrow surface, you can absolutely keep your hands pretty close to each other, like so. If this is the case, I don't want to see froggy elbows, so we'll show you here. Should look like this, okay? You're gonna want those elbows to come down by the waist, so it'll look much more like this. Good, down and up. Excellent. If you have issues with your wrists, this really only works if you really do have a sturdy chair, but you can hook your hands over the edge.
Exercise.
You notice how that's a much less severe angle for those hands. Again, if you're doing it against a wall, and I'm even doing it against a pole, you can absolutely keep those elbows close to your waist right here.
Begin set 2.
Very good, set 2, here we go. Narrow hands. So a couple things I see a lot of here, ladies. I see a lot of piking, sort of hinging at the hip. You want to keep your whole body as a single unit. You're moving all at the same time. My wrists are a little sensitive today, so I'm going to move it forward. Number 2, no cobra. Okay, if your hips are sagging, that's not so good. You want to keep all your plank muscles working hard.
Stop exercise.
Very nice. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Neck is nice and long, and you want to avoid either pushing forward too much through the chest or collapsing between the shoulder blades. One thing that people tend to do,
begin set 3,
is they worry a lot about their depth. And then that will often lead to one of these sort of form complications. So people will they'll try to shove their neck forward, or they'll try to drop their hips to feel like they're getting down really far. Don't worry about your depth. Just worry about the form. Think about how you're in a nice tight plank position. And if it turns out that you're just doing little teeny perfect push-ups, well then that's okay. Very good.
Stop exercise.
Woo, gorgeous, big shoulder roll. Shake out my little wrists. You're not happy with me today. Some days are better than others. We have one more set here. At the end of set 4, we will remain standing and grab our
begin
hands.
set 4.
All right. Nice tight plank position. Tucking that tailbone, squeezing that booty, belly button to the sky. Elbows stay close to the waist. Now, if you have a bench like mine, you can try a wider grip. Wider grip is going to feel a lot easier, which means you'll be able to kind of come down a little bit lower. But again, most people are going to have kind of a narrow surface to work with, so keeping that narrow grip here. Very nice.
Stop exercise and switch to the next station.
All right, we've just done a ton of work for the chest. Now we're going to do work for the back. Go ahead and grab a single hand lift, just one. We're going to send one leg way back into the letter A. In fact, even farther. We're essentially going to go into a runner's lunge. Your elbow is going to be on that thigh. Notice long straight line from my heel to the top of my head. My eyes, unless I'm looking at the camera, are generally down and in line. You can even look at your big toe, but I just don't want your chin to drop in too much. That elbow runs by the waist, squeezing that shoulder blade. This is what's called a lawnmower row, and you can kind of see why, right?
Stop exercise.
For whatever reason, you have a problem doing that deep runner's lunge, that front knee doesn't like being bent that much, you're always welcome to go into our letter A. It's essentially the same movement, but the nice thing about the lawnmower row
begin set 2
is that you get a lot of support for that upper body. You're able to bring that chest down much closer to parallel to the floor than the letter A row. And your lower back isn't taking on much of this work because, again, you've got your support from that elbow. Good. So yeah, this is always an option if you need to take it up a little bit higher. But I just really like this one. I feel supported, I feel strong, I feel long. Good. And you'll notice again, my hips right in line, not a big
exercise.
Sort of pike up like this. Good. Now you're gonna go ahead and switch legs. I did 2 sets on the same leg. If you switch legs already, that's fine. But I'm just gonna go ahead and face the other way, make it a little easier for you to see what I'm doing. Good. Big runner's lunge. That leg, you'll notice, is fairly straight. We're not doing like an actual lunge here. Just that front knee is bent. And row. Now we do want to keep that elbow, again, close to the waist. Sometimes I see some like chicken wing stuff happening. Let's keep it close for today. And your aim is to try to wrap your shoulder blade around your spine. Nice hard squeeze every single time. Good. Beautiful. Excellent, ladies.
Stop, exercise.
During the break here, I'll show you the modification once again, just in case you need a reminder. Maybe this knee is not cooperating while the other knee was fine. Big letter A. This one, your spine is still in line with that back leg, which means that your chest is not going to be as low.
Begin set 4.
But you're still close to the waist, still squeezing that shoulder blade. So yeah, here's your modification. Now we go back down into our deep runner's lunge. Very wide stance here. Good. Beautiful, ladies. If you ever want to try this on your own, and you notice that you feel a little bit wobbly, you can always place your hand on like a chair or a wall right here if you need something to kind of hang on to.
Stop, exercise, and switch to the next station.
Go ahead and come on up. You're going to go ahead and grab your other hand weight. Time for our triceps. So I'm going to show you 2 different versions. You've probably seen both of these before. Version 1, this is for people who have a little bit of trouble with their shoulder. Palms facing the back wall, weights are going to kind of be right underneath your butt. Knees are soft, please, and core is nice and tight as you pulse those weights behind you. Good. Now, if you'd like this to be a little bit more challenging, you're going to pulse it back, hold it, and then pulse again. So that second pulse is coming from an already working position. Now, for some people, this isn't going to be that great for their shoulder, maybe not even their neck. So if you need to come from neutral, that's okay. Good. So this is version 1. Excellent. You should be feeling this in the back of the deltoid and the top of the tricep. Version 2 is going to be the overhead tricep press. I always like to bring my weights into the letter X. You can grab them easily with both hands that way.
Begin set 2.
Directly overhead. And then as you bend the elbows, you want to try your very best to keep them parallel to each other. So you want to try as much as you can not to flare out like this. You want to keep them close. The other thing you want to try is to get that tricep next to the ears rather than forward here. That way, when you do your extension, your weights end in a stacked position. Knees are soft, core and glutes lightly engaged. You don't want to hyperextend.
Stop, exercise.
Oof, very good. Go ahead and take that break. Sets 3 and 4 is going to be up to you. I'm going to review both right now. Either pulsing or bring those weights into an X and do your overhead.
Begin set 3.
Good. Very nice. And if you want, you could try one for set 3 and then switch to the other for set 4. This workout is just a smorgasbord of opportunities and possibilities and varieties and all kinds of flavors. Beautiful. Oof. Very, very nice. Oh, see, I'm going to switch at the end of this because this one.
Stop, exercise.
Oh, it's getting my elbows. Elbows are burning a little bit today, which is kind of weird. So to this one we go. And honestly, your body is gonna feel different on different days. There will be some days
Begin set 4.
when doing a nice heavy overhead press is just what you want, just what you need. And then there will be other days when what you really want is small range of motion, pulsing and focused work in one particular area, like this one. This is what I'm feeling today. And at the end of set 4, we have one more exercise. We're gonna come on down to our chair or bench, and we're gonna take a seat.
Stop exercise and switch to the
Very
next
nice.
station.
So you're gonna sit down, and I'm just gonna put down one of my weights. I'm gonna hold on to the other one. We're going to go into a lean back series for the abdominals. So, starting with your feet flat on the floor, weight close to the body, close to the belly.
Begin set 1.
You're going to tuck your tailbone just a little bit and lean back. Now, if you'd like to do this on the floor, that's absolutely fine, but doing it on a chair is going to feel a little easier on the hip flexors. Eyes forward, and you're just going to tap one pocket with that weight, followed by the other pocket into a small Russian twist. Keeping the eyes forward for now. Now keep going, ladies, while I sort of talk you through this concept. Very important that this lean back should be controlled
Stop
by
exercise.
this. I want you to sort of go and take a break if you like. I want you to sort of visualize this strip of muscle running from your sternum all the way down to your pelvis. This long muscle is like a rubber band. This is what's controlling your lean back. It all comes from right here.
Begin
And when you
set
come up, it
2.
comes from here. Every time you start to feel it in your lower back, refocus your work to your abs. Good. Set 2. Now, if you'd like to add a little progression here, you can take your eyes with the weight. Notice that it sort of turns my chest a little bit more. This is going to go deeper into my obliques. But for some people, this is just not going to be that great for their lower back. If that's you, keep those eyes forward. That's going to limit your range of motion just a little bit more.
Stop exercise.
Very good. Go ahead and use your abs to pull yourself up. I also like to fold forward over my thighs. This is a lovely seated child's pose. Oh, feels so nice. Very good. Big breath in.
Begin
Come on
set
up.
3.
Grab that weight. And if you're ready for a little progression, totally optional. When you turn toward a leg, that's the leg you're going to pick up. So if I'm turning to my right leg lifts. It's going to get some of those lower abdominals. Please go slow and take your time. You'll also notice I am putting my foot all the way back down before I pick the other foot up. Good, ladies. Excellent. Belly button in.
Stop.
Think about someone is constantly tightening a corset. Just tugging on those strings, and you're just tightening your abs in response. Good. Now this is technically a break. I'm going to keep going because I'm going to show you the possible progression after this. You come
Begin
over
set 4.
You're going to try to switch your feet in midair. It's going to look like this. Switch and tap. Foot goes all the way down. Switch. This is challenging. Switch. If it hurts your back, don't do it. Switch. Good. And you know, if you're really crazy, you can hover that foot. But again, very challenging. It's an option, but keep your mind on your body, pay attention to the signals.
Your
training is now complete. Look at that. Your final pose, just one last little thing. Bring those arms all the way up. And then fold yourself on over your thighs. And finish up with a lovely seated child's pose. Ah, so good. Use your hands on your thighs to push yourself up. Very nice work, ladies. Now, I did have a cancellation today, which means I can come up and say hello.